Well, good afternoon, Sean.
Hi.
Hey, it's good to be together. I know we talked about this last week, and here we are. We made it happen.
Yeah, we did pretty quick too. I love it. I love it. We found it. We found a window.
I know it.
It's good.
By way of a formal introduction, Sean Verchick with all things real estate.
Yes.
Investing, property management. So we'll dive into that and see a little bit about what you're doing to help your local communities in those areas. And I thought, first of all, maybe you could just tell me a little bit about how you got started in the business and how long you've been working in these fields.
Yeah, great. Yeah, so about 15 years ago.
Wait a minute. You don't look old enough to be in anything for 15.
Believe it or not, I am. So 15 years ago, I had an opportunity to begin helping out a friend, and I stepped into a role of I didn't really know what it was at the time, and I didn't really know where it was going. But what I ended up discovering from this was a niche. And so I spent years building relationships with this particular client, and I ended up realizing that there is an actual role for this, which was estate management. And so there are a lot of. So I was in Los Angeles at the time, mm-hmm. And so I realized that there was this role. It's kind of under the radar, mm-hmm. as an estate manager, right. And a lot of people bring on estate managers in the realm of ultra high net worth individuals. Right. A lot of people are hiring these estate managers to come on to manage their property, to kind of staff the property, mm-hmm. and some of these different things. And so when I discovered that particular niche, I kind of got some wheels turning in my head. And so I started stepping into this from more of a business approach, opposed to just like, okay, I have a job as an estate manager.
Right.
So the first thing, just where my mind goes, is, okay, how do you scale this?
Yeah. And
so with that particular client, I started taking on additional properties. And so when you get into it, because it's not a volume play, because it is very niche, clients are actual properties. Mm-hmm. So now, many years later, I'm overseeing a $100 million portfolio of properties, and we've got properties from Nantucket to we've got several properties in Nantucket, Watercolor, Florida. We've got Boston, Los Angeles, Manhattan Beach, and so
nationwide.
Yeah, we really went in nationwide. Awesome. And so this kind of encompassed a lot of different aspects of things that kind of like scratch my itch, I guess.
Yeah.
So we've got project management. I had a construction background, so I was getting into renovations, many hundreds of $1,000 renovations, up to $1 million. We were doing, very large upscale bathrooms, very expensive finishes, and I was just kind of discovering this, wow, and building teams.
Yeah.
Which I love to do. Like at the end of the day, like I love to run a project, and I love to encourage and build relationships with vendors. And so I started to realize that this was pretty cool. So I figured out a way to do that remotely in different spaces, and so I ended up kind of going down that route and just kind of falling in love with that process. We offer a lot of different things, including like a personal concierge service. I mean, the thing that I tell people is we deal with everything from their pets to their jets. That's literally what we do. I mean, it is, you name it. I mean, it can be something as small as like, hey, the dog needs to be groomed every Tuesday. My team comes in and we make sure that is scheduled for that. Wow. If we need dog walkers, if we need nannies, if we need laundresses, if we need particular vendors for anything, we provide it. And we build that team and that culture within each property, because there has to be strong communication and culture within that, so that it's not a burden to the homeowners in that way.
And the trust, right?
Oh,
the tremendous amount of trust between the homeowner and your yourself in the business?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was like a big part of that journey. And I kind of wanted to begin, some things started to roll in my head after doing that. There was a lot of people relocating, a lot of relocation services that were provided. And that was something that, hey, I know these areas. I know what properties need. I know like how to staff them. If you're relocating somebody that, is coming from, let's say, DC or somewhere else that is coming to Los Angeles or any of these places, they're going to want to come, and they're not going to bring their staff with them.
Right.
So they need staffing. They need all of these different services, and they don't want to have to track down many vendors and all this. They want one person. Hey, take care of all this. So we have like a one bill system and all this stuff. And so within that, in 2022, I decided to get my real estate license because I realized that this was an opportunity. And so I stepped into that. And then, here we are, 2025, I bought properties where I'm actually taking that skill set and converting it into our own properties to be able to kind of use that same model and building teams, in flipping properties, renting properties, and doing this. It's a little bit different because I primarily was dealing with, private residences. So it's a little bit different. So I'm building and learning about some different teams and services. But yeah, it's been quite the journey.
What a run. I mean, this is exciting. I don't think I've ever, I'm sure in my mind, if someone's, brought to my attention that you are a gourmet, property, not just an estate manager, with so much trust. If someone said, if I thought that existed, I'd say, well, yeah, well, I guess. I'm sure there's a lot of wealthy people, a lot of high net worth. But I've never met anybody that does it, which is really, really cool. And when you think about it, your background and your demeanor as a trustworthy person speaks volumes. And I understand you have a Christian background as well. That no doubt lends very nicely right into why people can trust you. Yeah. So that's important. What do you? And you also, speaking of that Christian background, you do some things locally with your local church as well. And can you share a little bit about your involvement there? Yeah,
100%. I appreciate you saying that.
Sure.
I do think that. Looking at strong leadership, the best model we can look at is Jesus. And so I just think that it's such a bottom-up approach opposed to top-down.
Yeah.
And that demeanor of serving our team, serving our vendors, like I do believe in the mentality of bringing value to clients, bringing value to vendors, because we're essentially a lead generation for like contractors across the board, general contractors, plumbers, guys all that services, wash cars, guys. I mean, you'd be so surprised how many very unique vendors there are out there, like, art consultants, that come and place art and do all these different, there's a lot of different things aside from just your general electricians and this and that. And I do believe in those, building those strong relationships. And that's one of my first approaches, is to say, hey, look, like, this is not a one-off thing. The way that I approach vendors is I want to build a relationship with you. So you kind of let out a lot of rope. I want to see where we're at.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you begin to kind of refine that relationship and expectations moving forward to begin developing a long-term relationship, because it takes trust from clients, but also takes my trust from my vendors.
Yeah.
And so we have to have that working relationship and that trust across the board. And so, I think that with the church, so much of how I kind of look at business, it comes from core beliefs, and it does come from a biblical standpoint. Let's see, it was in 2022, so it was a little over 2 years ago. No, I'm sorry, I don't even know what the date was, but it was a little over 2 years ago, July, a little over 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We moved down here with a couple friends, Joe and Christine Pringle and our friend Natalie, to actually plant a church. So it was more than just being involved.
So you were establishing.
Yeah, so there was
center.
no church, and now there is a church. Yeah. So we actually came in and we didn't know really anybody here. And so again, you turn to relationship, you turn to building friends, and now it's incredible because we started in a house and we built a lot of relationships through just providing service to people. Like, we would host dinner parties, and we would provide a place for people to gather and commune and talk and get to know one another and to pray with one another and to do the essentials. We even worship together in that place. As a worship leader, I was able to kind of lead through that. And so now, we have a community of people that the church is called C3 Orange County. And now we have a community of people that we're surrounded by within that. And it again started with that relationship. And, with that mentality in mind, like I don't want to be stagnant in my kind of position or growth. Like I want to be moving forward and in an upward direction. I want to constantly learn how to grow, and the best way to do that is to have people around me at the top, and people that you have people that you're learning from, and then people that you're pulling up. So you're in the center. So learning to ask great questions, learning to kind of be prepared for some maybe tough feedback.
Right.
Like, oh man, this is something I noticed. That's great. I'm glad that
I receive it. Thank you.
You provided that to me, because now I can press forward, process, review, and grow in that. So with that, I think that it really lends to not being so dollar focused.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, you can't nickel and dime things. Like, it all comes back. If you have a vision for the future, then you're able to establish a grander view of a financial stance. Like, this is where I am now. But if my goal is relationship, then at the end of the day, in the grand perspective of vision and where I am, this is not that important of a thing. So a lot of times, it takes some tough conversations when you have, vendors or people that you're going to have to press a little bit.
Right.
And you're going to have to eat some things. Like in business, like, there is a loss. You're not always going to come out on top, but you learn from that. You move forward, and you just kind of move on and preserve the relationships where relationships are crucial.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
And in my experience too, with working in business, but also working in faith and growing in that faith, in order to input and infuse into others, we have to personally do that ourselves.
Yeah.
We have to receive, we have to intake to better ourselves, but also our families. And now, we usually attract what we are. They say usually in business and even in life, if you want to know who you are, look at the 4 people you hang with the most. You're the 5th.
Totally.
And on a spiritual level, that's amazing to do that. And on a business level, that carries right in. I find with us too, my wife and I, is, we spent the last probably 3-4 years really kind of honing down or honing in on the friendships and the relationships we want to keep.
Yeah. And
some others that didn't really serve his purpose and our purpose anymore.
Yeah.
We had to let some of those relationships kind of, we're still friendly and everything, but we don't spend as much time with them because it's not really helping us grow, like you mentioned.
Right.
But it's hard for me to help others grow when I don't.
Yeah.
And so with our business, we have taken that approach as well, a spiritual approach, but even our family of iFinance Mortgage here, we are just that.
Yeah.
We are a family of men and women who really don't look for the buck. The money follows in our businesses. but we go after what can we do to help that family?
Yep.
How can we help our realtor partners who are really in the front lines of serving the community with respects to real estate? But your niche that you do is so valuable to help these high net worth people who I would venture to say they might have some trust issues in life.
Totally. 100%.
Because of what they have and who they can trust. Is that kind of what you've found?
Yeah, it's the access is interesting. It is an access thing, and building that trust. I mean, we're all people, and so I like to, in relationships, just in business, I think in general, and even clients, it's like, this goes across the board. I think it's as just a business owner, an entrepreneur, or whatever you're doing. I think that you go beyond just that business. Like there's relational equity that you can build, and there's a sacrifice of time in that. But it's built with time. And it's also built with there's a lot of people in this world that they talk a big talk. They paint a big picture of all these different things, and how great everything. Honestly, like I don't want to do that. I believe that the work speaks for itself, and the care. Like when I do a lot of interviews for staffing and this and that, and a lot of people would go to direct questions like, okay, like, are you available this time? And what was your previous job history like? And a lot of these some of the questions I ask is, what did you do this weekend?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I did that. Oh, okay. I hung out with some friends. Oh, cool. What did you guys get into? What was that like? Because there's something to say about character.
Sure.
You can have some of the most talented people that have no real passion, and I would much rather someone with a real growth mentality, maybe not as skilled or talented, that is passionate about growth and passionate about excellence and doing doing the best that they possibly can with what they have. It's dedication to being proud of something. Like I really believe that I want to do work that I'm proud of.
Yeah.
Like if it's a real estate transaction, if we have a listing or something like that, I want to be proud of the process, proud of something, the silliest things, that homeowners may overlook or whatever. I want to leave that feeling like, man, I did a great job on that, and I think that that's so important to really care. And to not be afraid to go the extra mile, man. A lot of people, you see people cut corners and
that's crazy,
across the board in everything, and I can't. It is so much easier to do it right the first time.
Yeah,
I've made so many mistakes. I make so many mistakes. We all do, and man, when you make mistakes within a line or project or whatever it is it takes so much time and effort and money oftentimes to unravel and redo.
Sure does.
And it really takes the care and the time to dedicate yourself to whatever it is that you're doing, to think. There's this thing that we have between our ears that is that we can use to kind of think through things and to process things and to not just, nothing's a throwaway. I don't think that there are some things that we may not like doing, like, hey, this is if you do energy audits and time audits and all this stuff, we can acknowledge that there are some things that we don't like. Well, that's great. That's an opportunity to maybe press into a team, or maybe there's somebody that I can bring on for this particular role so that I can operate in excellence, but also kind of have a growth standpoint with building others and giving opportunities to others as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's, just listening to some of the things that you've been stating. One of the themes of the podcast is the mindset of a champion. Mm-hmm. And you spoke about the thing between our two ears there, our mind, right? Our brain, the mindset of a champion. What sets you apart? What sets me apart? And when I think of that, you know, a lot of things come to my mind when I think of champions. People think of sports. They think of, you know, a champion in perhaps even in a religious field, the things that they've uncovered, the things that they've started, helping worship centers get off the ground, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. But I'd like to just ask for your personal opinion. What do you think of when it comes to having the mindset of a champion? What does that look like to you? What's that mean to you?
Yeah, I think that really the mindset of a champion is really I'm in charge of my day. I'm in charge of the disciplines that I apply in my life. I'm in charge of the decisions that I make. I'm in charge of the food that I put in my body. Mm-hmm. I'm in charge of where my time gets spent. Our most valuable asset is our time. Yeah. So many people focus so heavily on money. But I do think that you can with money, you can buy time, you know, and that's true. Just kind of like fundamental, like just business in general. Like we want to focus on the things that we and only we can do so that we can scale and grow. And so I think that just accepting that we are responsible for what our days look like, what our futures look like, what are all those things and how they serve our greater vision. And I think it really comes back to having that clear vision. You're not having all the answers along the way, but at least knowing there's a destination. And so that destination is going to dictate the way that I make decisions, the way that I spend my time, you know, and I love what you were saying earlier about, you know, family, you know, how do I make decisions that are going to, because a lot changes when there's a family, sure does. And it's going to dictate a lot of the way that we spend our money, the way that we spend our time, the disciplines that we implement to be a great father, a great husband. It all takes work, you know, and disciplines. Like it really does. And I think that that's what truly makes a champion and like, you know, for lack of better words, but separates the men from the boys is that when you are dedicated to disciplining your mind and disciplining your decisions and just in implementing those things, I think consistency is the difference. You decide on disciplines. You know the ones like where wisdom would serve you to say these are good choices, and you stay consistent in those. You know, it's easy to get into a place of, you know, I can't mentality, or I don't know, or I don't have the answers. I'm afraid, you know, a lot of these things.
Self-limiting beliefs, all those kinds of things.
It's your ceiling.
Yeah.
But we have a choice in a lot of those things. A lot of them are yes or no. Are you going to go, or you're not going to go? Mm-hmm. You know? Yeah. And a lot of times those are very, it's hard when it's black and white like that. There are no gray areas in a lot of that. So yeah, I think that that's really what makes it's doing the hard things, you know, but they're simple. Yeah. And everyone wants to overcomplicate. Yeah. So many people want to overcomplicate
That's so
everything.
True.
Overcomplicate business, overcomplicate finances, overcomplicate family, family is complicated. Mm-hmm. You know, money can be complicated. You know, you have so much information coming at you. Business can be, you have, everybody's trying to give you the easy key to answer all your questions.
Click here, scroll up.
Totally. Here's a debt consolidation loan. Well, that's not really getting down to the core fundamental, like behavioral issue. And so I think that it takes skill to strive for that simplicity, because things naturally become complicated. So we need to strive for the fundamentals and the foundation. And, you know, there's a large component of faith and belief in that, of like, okay, let's establish that foundation in our world. because the weight of the world and the weight of a father and a husband and a business owner and, had a finance, whatever it might be, that's a heavy burden. But, as a man of faith, like when I am weak, he is strong. I don't have to rely on my own strength on a regular basis, because oftentimes it's like, how am I going to do this? We all have those days.
Sure do.
And when you have a foundation that you're standing on that's firm, it's not blown away by the wind and the storms. It is firm, and we can lean on that in those times. And that's that would be one of my most important disciplines, would be pressing into that daily bread, that daily relationship with him, and knowing his truth and the wisdom that is provided and laid out to us. I think that's a crucial element, So
that's huge.
I
love it. And, I think too, just to add on to what you say about when you think of a champion, you think of a winner, you think of, but what a lot of people don't think of is everything you just mentioned, all the hard work, the journey, getting to what it takes to be successful. And the discipline, the mental discipline of structuring your day, your time, holding yourself accountable, maybe having our wives or an accountability buddy giving us some tough love sometimes. And hey, you said you were going to do this, but you didn't yet. It's, controlling our controllables. I can control my work ethic. I can control my attitude. That's not in somebody else's control.
Right.
I can control my screen time. And, so everything you said really resonates with me, Sean, because it's not so much the end result of winning. That's the all-important thing. It's the journey of progress. It's who we've helped along the way
100%.
So that they can feel like a champion as well. And the reason why I bring that up is kind of a, the mindset of a champion, what sets you apart is because our journey to be a champion is different for everybody. To be a champion might be to just put food on the table for that day for some families. Others, and so it's very specific and it has different meanings to people. And so I really appreciate how you brought that out, that there's a process of controlling, self-control.
Absolutely.
And a winner, in my mind, a champion, they didn't just become that. Wake up one day, boom, I'm a champion. They have coaches, they have mentors, they have, in our case, spiritual mentors, the Bible, things that we believe that really help nourish our mind and our faith to be the best versions of ourselves. And so I really, really love what you said, because it gives everybody an opportunity to kind of, and after they go through this podcast, listen to it, maybe take a deeper internal look. And see, well, what can I control just a little bit better to make me that better husband, make me that better father, that better leader, whatever it is. So that resonates with me, what you say. It's really, really well said. Well, as we kind of wrap things up here, what I like to help people understand too is what would be your best referral. What could I do? What could those that may be watching this, what would be a great referral for you in any portion of your business that we could offer to you?
The best referral? Oh, that's great. That's a great question. I think
it seems basic, but there's a lot of components to it.
And I think I love what you were saying earlier. Just I don't really believe in this in the idea of, I don't know, sometimes we can get into a desperate mentality and we begin begging for business. And I think that really the best referral is any sort of relationship. Like I would say, like right now, kind of jumping over to kind of where we met at the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
I'm going in there with the mentality of, hey, what can I provide?
Yeah.
What can I provide to these people?
Absolutely.
And I think when it comes down to it, it would be somebody that would be a relationship that I would be able to take on that would, it would be a two-way street. Like I provide something for them. They see who I am, my character, and would ultimately want to refer me. I don't think that a referral in the case of like, okay, like, yeah, listing would be great, you know, but, to look kind of outside that from a top-down approach where it's like, somebody that would really have already built a relationship with many homeowners, with many homeowners across the board, where it's like we get to build a relationship of trust where there's many opportunities for us to work in a two-way street. Like when it comes to a homeowner, a listing, I can help them. Sure.
And,
there's really, I do believe in building a relationship with clients. That's all my clients that I have on the estate management side, I've vacationed with them. I have 15-year relationships, and they're strong
Awesome.
and good and growing. And so I desire that for on the transactional side, but for listings and home buyers. But it's unfair to think that that's going to happen every time.
Sure.
And so some relationships are going to be transactional. But when there's a relationship that can build that would be a long-term relationship, that was like, I have literally single relationships within my world that have built a vast majority of my business. We don't always need like, small referrals are good, but sometimes it's that one relationship that can give you that just like
take you in a direction you never expected.
Totally. They believe in what you do. They believe in who you are, where you're going. They trust you.
Right.
And they say, whatever I can do to help you, you have gone above and beyond for me, and I want to extend that. And so however I can help you, and that sort of relationship is like such a blessing, and you hope for those. That is the type of relationship and referral that I would want. If that's even the type of referral.
Totally makes sense.
At the end of the day, where can I learn? Like, I'm looking for mentors.
Yeah.
I want to learn from the best of the best of the best. The people that are just absolutely crushing it. Like, if I could just, get 15 minutes with that person, ask some questions that would like just clear up some of the noise, in your mind, that's valuable to me. So I think that's one of the best places to look. Someone's that's so far beyond where I am that I can learn from.
See, that's such a unique answer and approach, because a lot of the standard, what I usually hear is, any family that's looking to buy or sell or relocate here and there, or anybody that's looking to that needs a good CPA or financial advisor, whatever it is. But the angle you approached it from is, whoever would be a good relational reference to me. Somebody that's another good person.
Yeah.
Somebody that has good core values like me.
Yeah.
I want that. Please refer that person to me.
Yeah.
Please introduce. It's maybe not even so much of a referral. It's an introduction.
That's it.
I would love an introduction to these type of really good people that have my same values
100%.
of helping other people.
Yeah.
And then from there, like you say, it's not even so much that the person that you were introduced to, it's who they know and trust and say, you know what? I just met this really cool guy, Sean, the other day. Great values. He's a spiritual man and family head too. You got to meet him. Next thing you know, and it's just the spider web of all these wonderful people we meet.
That's it. And it's fun to really think back. If I go down the road of like, thinking, I did this the other day actually, and I was thinking about, you meet certain people in your world that are still in your world.
Mm-hmm.
And how did I meet that person? And you kind of try to unwind it.
Yeah.
And my brain starts to hurt. If I didn't do that at this time, and I didn't, get pulled over by that cop and do this, and I didn't bump my leg on that thing, and whatever it is, it's like you start to go down this thing. It's like, man, it's so cool that a single relationship can change the entire trajectory of your life. And sometimes it it can go both ways. Right. It's not always good. You know what I mean? There's people that I met, along the way. And I'm like, it probably wasn't so good. Well, let's get back on track. In my younger 20s and stuff. So yeah, I really believe that everything it really comes down to relationship. It's a powerful thing. And at the end of the day, when it comes to business and there's a lot of different realms that I'm in, and I have teams that I build within those spaces, and so it opens me up to invest in those relationships and be able to provide value in a lot of different areas, whether it's, with investors, because I'm an investor myself. So
Sure.
I get it, with the wholesale market, with homeowners and people looking for homes, and, even on the sense of like, your working professionals that are like, I don't want to keep dealing with all these vendors and the maintenance on my house. So, I've been looking into, maybe there's a market even outside of just this ultra high net worth niche thing. And there's a need for the working professional family that's like, I want to buy back my time. So there's a service within that concierge element that's like, that's something that actually provides value to me. It's like, if I don't want to clean my house, I don't want to spend time cleaning my house. I hire a maid.
Sure.
And if I don't want to have to deal with managing, all of the maintenance and stuff that comes along with home ownership,
Mm-hmm.
there is a place for that. And so, there's a lot of different like future elements to that. And so, it just really comes down to being able to provide value in a lot of different. I'm passionate about business and life and people. And so, where can I add value? Where can I provide a connection? Where can I provide that referral for somebody's business? I'm all for it.
Yeah.
And we all win at the end of the day when it comes down to that.
Sure do. Absolutely. Yeah. And kind of lead right into some of the things you said. A final question I have for you, and it's one of those things where you've already led us up to this question because you've found success, but now it's a matter of how can we help others also find success on the journey that we've had. And so my final question is, what advice would you have for others to be successful no matter what they embark on, whether it's business, life, family, relationships? What advice would you give to people to find some success?
I would definitely say that focus your time on high impact items, high impact things. And I think that translates to everything. Family, mm-hmm. Like what is the, you can really, everyone's, I'm busy. Okay. Well, are you effective? Mm. Are those things producing, let's say, an ROI?
Yeah.
Is there a return on that investment of time? Yeah. Or you just don't really know what to do, and so you're just aimlessly doing all these things. So, focusing on high impact things and taking the time to look at those things. Like what, and it doesn't, it's not, a lot of it's not rocket science. Sometimes we just have to, like, to my wife, hey, like, what do you need right now? Instead of maybe viewing it as like, I think she's maybe upset, or I think that maybe, whatever, she seems down, or whatever it might be. Yeah. Like, oh man, she's like got a lot going on right now, whatever it might be. So I could either like scurry around and like try to do all these different things, or and try to figure it out, or I just say, what do you need right now?
Yeah.
And focusing on those like as a high impact thing, like what is going to have the greatest return on that investment of time and effort.
My 24 hours a day, what's going to bring me and my family the most return on investment?
Man, yeah. And you look at business too, like, I see a lot of people investing so much time in social media, and I think that social media is powerful. I don't think that social media is a lead generator for a lot of businesses. I think it's a good lead, especially for realtors. I think it's a good lead converter.
Yeah.
So it is a good platform to have, like, hey, this is who I am, this is what I believe in, and this is the type of work I do. This is my business. But it's a lead converter. So I think a lot of people would maybe refer to that after seeing a card or meeting you. They would go and look you up, and say, oh, okay, cool. This is his family. Well, all these different elements to that. And I see a lot of people investing in time and money and expense into social media, without really understanding, like, man, it's like, okay, if you're going to spend X amount of dollars on this, could that money, like asking the question, okay, this is what everyone's doing, so this is what I have to do as well.
Right.
But is there what is something high impact that's unique to you as a business owner, that it's unique to your business, that will be a great investment for that number? What is a high impact thing that's unique to you? Because I see a lot of people that are just kind of doing what everybody did. Like, they even I heard somebody the other day, say, hey, you're such a inspiration as far as, like, a social media template for what works. And it's like, that's not very fun. It's not very unique. You're just doing what everybody else is doing.
Copying other people.
So I think across the board, it's just asking yourself, man, is this high impact for me personally? Like, for me and my unique position within business, within family, within finances, like, I hear a lot of justification happening. Yeah. People want to justify, particularly, like, especially in finances.
I do this because I did it.
So I need a new car, let's say. Okay, you need a new car. So what's wrong with your old car? Nothing. I need a new car.
My neighbor, I just saw, they just got this.
Yeah, well, and then it comes down, it's a justification. Yeah. But then you'll hear those same people say, like, striving for, I need to make more money, I need to make more money. But man, you made a decision. Was that a good high impact decision that umbrellas down to every area of your life? Like, what's the center? And then, each decision that we make affects many different areas of that. And so I think it's really good to have that filter and ask ourselves, is this something that's going to help to make any area of my life more effective, efficient, and give me a good return on this investment of time, money, and resources. And, like, most of the time, it's just we justify our decisions, and we can justify why we don't, like, I enjoy getting up in the morning. I get up at 5:15. And man, if I miss that, I can justify and say, well, I need sleep, or I need this and that. Well, by 10 o'clock, I'm like, man, even getting up, like, I can't really sleep past like 7, I don't know, even that 6:30 maybe.
Your brain
6, I don't know.
Ready to go.
But you get to 10 o'clock, even sleeping in an extra 45 minutes, man, it throws me off.
Yeah.
And I regret that decision, because it's like, you got to move on and do that. But man, that's a high impact decision. It's not an easy one to make.
Right.
But man, the return on that is so great, because man, it sets me up for the day. Before my daughter gets up, I get to, like, I would say, prayer for me, and time to just alone and studying, and being able to do that. I can make an excuse. I don't have any time for that. Okay, well, I'm going to make the time. I'm going to make the time, because I know that this is a high impact decision that I can make, that is going to change my course of the day. Like, by the end of the day, I'm drained. And so I need to fill up in the morning. I don't have time to eat well. Okay, well, I'm going to front load my calorie intake and my health intake in the morning, so that there is no excuse. You have to innovate and to really find the best way that each decision that you make can be a high impact one. So I just really believe in those. We could be so bogged down with being busy, what everyone else tells us to do, what everyone else thinks we're supposed to be doing, what business should look like, and this and that. We could just look outward. I think that it's so important to look at what is high impact for me and the uniqueness of my business, the uniqueness of my family, and to really look at that. I want to be high impact in the things that I do and the places that I spend my time and the places that I put my money, the places that I put my effort. And it doesn't have to be that immediate satisfaction. I think that it is, again, attaching that high impact filter with a long-term vision. Ooh, it's not about what comes in the immediate. We kind of just gravitate towards the things that are going to give us something, that instant gratification. That car makes me feel good. But what is it? After a month and a half, it's just another car. Who cares? So is that an immediate satisfaction, like an instant gratification in that? Or was that a good thing to invest in that is going to help you towards, was it a high impact decision that is going to help you to fulfill that vision in the long term? And we have to have that long term vision in mind in order to even know where a high impact decision falls, because otherwise it's just all like, I'm just going to blow with the wind and seek that instant gratification with everything in life. So I would say that is important.
Oh, very much so. Those are just really good words of wisdom, nuggets that we can take home with us. And anybody that's listening, we asked, the question was, what advice would you have to be successful? And no matter what we do, you just heard it. So hopefully you've taken down those notes. It wasn't overcomplicated. It was very simple. And now it's up to us to apply. We apply, we grow, we can lead to success, and we can also help others on that journey to success. Sean, thank you so much for being a part of our podcast today. Not only in a spiritual sense, but in a business sense, a family sense. You are a champion. You are helping others to win, your teams, and it's a real honor to have met you just a week ago. 7 days today.
Oh, man. Well,
we met together.
It's so awesome to be. I really appreciate you having me on here and just allowing me to I feel like, just chatting along, but man, ask great questions and challenging questions that I think are going to really sow some really great things into the people watching, and so I appreciate you having me on, man. And it's such a pleasure to get to know you through this too. This is awesome.
We got some pickleball to play too coming up.
Yeah, let's go. Look, I'm going to adjust. I can't. My shoulder is just really bugging me. I'm too busy.
Hold on.
No, man. That's going to be awesome. I would love to do that.
Look forward to it. Thank you, buddy.
You're awesome.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, likewise.